Alright. Good morning and hello. Welcome back to the Road to Better Chess. I have my own stream open. Alright, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the Road to Better Chess. It has been a while. We recently came over to Nagasaki to visit the in-laws, and the whole move and just our rhythm changing made things a little bit tricky, but glad to say I found some space, and with the family helping out, there's a bit of extra time, so I get to get back to the road to better chess. I have in the meantime just been playing a bunch of rapid games anyway, but today I thought at the 25 game mark, I want to go back and have a look at what has happened in the last 25 games and see if I can find some takeaways, some key mistakes I made, or perhaps some theory lines I missed, or just some general ideas, and hopefully be a little bit stronger for the next games to come. So I'm also going to try something new. I'm actually going to stream this live, and then I'm going to cut it into the video later, so we'll see if it's worth it. Maybe I get lazy and I'll just leave it up, but for now I think I want to try this while I have the opportunity. So on the screen here we can see the profile's rapid rating, and I haven't really played any rapid for quite a while until the start of this series, so I think it's in the last month, basically. Yeah, basically in the last month, we've played these 25 games. You can see the rapid rating started at 1869, and we've been climbing, and we hit this 2000 mark, and we've kind of been sitting around the 2000 mark, a little bit up, a little bit down, up, down. So happy to say that we've kind of reached that milestone. One of the options that many people have is always just to aim for getting 2000, and then that's their big goal. For me and for this series, I'm a little bit more interested in just taking away some good learnings. I hope that as I improve, the rating will keep climbing, but always our main focus is OTB chess and the league games that we also play. These I feel are the main ones, so I'm not too worried if we don't climb too high as long as I can get some value. So with that said, I have a little spreadsheet which you can't see, but I'm going to go through the games just one by one quickly and see if I can remember anything I wanted to remember from there, if there's anything specific I want to take away from it. So let's just go down. I don't think I really have to do an advanced search. The first opponent was called Morblet. Morblet. So we're just going to go down a bit. There will be a significant gap. 1 month, so around this time we started. 1 month, 8 months, yeah, okay, so this is clearly from a long time ago. I used to love playing the hourly rapid arenas, but because there's no increment, I often get a winning position and then I lose. My time management is definitely not my strong suit. So let's have a look. The very first game, I made a few notes here as well. So this was a Rubinstein Dutch. Um, our opponent played the Stonewall. I remember this. They played the Stonewall, but instead of playing d5 directly, they played c5, c6. And I thought I could kind of break the Stonewall setup before they recreated it, and kind of get an advantage like that. Although my memo here says that c6 isn't terrible and I shouldn't have done that. It was just lucky that it worked out. So let's have a look. I'm actually just going to open up the analysis straight. I've already done analyses on all these games, so I don't think there's too much to worry about. I just want to kind of go through and see exactly what we did. Yeah. So this is, again, kind of a standard way for me to play. I like playing the Fianchetto attack, but just getting into this move order is also fine. Otherwise, g3 obviously here is also something I can do, but not too worried about that. Here, g3, still good. Now, this is called the Rubinstein variation already. If I just went straight here, then this would have been called, I think, the Fianchetto attack after I Fianchetto. Unless I'm wrong. Bishop g2. Okay, still called the classical. Anyway, so here, and yeah, this is the move that I thought was incorrect. In the Masters database, you see it actually scores quite well. But I thought that I could punish them playing d5, which is a move that people have tried, but it turns out that after bishop e4, this is just completely equal. So here in this situation, they played incorrectly. They pushed past and ended up sinking that pawn in deep. And yeah, you can see clearly just a nice +1 advantage for me. But had they played bishop e4, I guess that would not have been as good. This is completely equal, and even in the Leeches database, this is just very, very equal games, so I've kind of misplayed the position a tiny bit. I do see here I can take, for instance, and trade, but they always have the option to take first with checks, so it just really isn't that much value I think I get out of this. So in the future, even if people start with c6 instead of d5 directly, just continuing with this plan here. And then we're going to get to a different Dutch learning, although actually I think maybe I'll just touch on that now because I remember it already, so fantastic. The move order I did here with knight c3 first uh, isn't bad. You can see here knight c3 is actually the main option in the Leeches database, but if I had played correctly, then what I could have done, let's say they still did their move order in kind of a funny way, knight f3, d5, here I could castle, bishop d6, b3, and then the plan here is that I'm going to place my bishop on this dark diagonal, so if they castle immediately, you know, I can just play it up, and you can't avoid trading because the rook is pinned to the bishop, or the rook is skewered with the bishop, so you have to take, and then I take, and you've just got so much air around your king. This knight can come back into the game in certain ways, maybe even down here I think is one of the options, and then play both knights into e5. I think there's one option here if black knows what's going on. Yeah, queen e7, and then I can still play a4 to kind of force it, and it's kind of just not possible for black to really avoid this trade. The only difference now is that they've put their queen on e7, which could be good, could not be good, I'm not sure. So here they castle, and again, same plan, I can come in and try and play both knights for the e5 square or something similar. So I think that's a happy one for me to remember. The key position for me that I have to remember is after here, not to immediately play knight c3. I am going to fianchetto anyway, so I should just go straight into it. Alright, so that'll be learning one. Done. Next game was against Elfolks, and this was also Dutch, and this is where I'm remembering, I think, the second game already. Let's just go have a look. 9 months ago, 8 months ago. Yeah, here's another one. And I think this is the one where I remember during the game. Here we go, here we go. Yeah, so here I remembered that there was a different plan, but then I forgot about it during the game. So here I fianchetto correctly. Glad to see it happening. Correct. C5. Oh, okay, hang on. Yeah, so in this case, obviously I can't do this because they're not playing. They're playing like a Benoni kind of situation here, right? With the c5 break. And I remember I played knight c3 here. Yes, correct. But the learning from this one is, I'll just see what memo I wrote. Black went c5 early and also attacked prematurely. Oh, okay, so I won this game because black just, they thought they had an attack with like 2-3 pieces, and I just kept developing and then crushed them. But yeah, my memo here from treat the c5 like a Benoni Benko and push d5 or defend it. Counter the premature attacking with development. So I went knight c3, which isn't terrible because I can still defend. I'm still defending with my queen, but here I just lose a tempo, you know, for no reason. So in this case, the two moves I should have considered, one was d5, and I think in the future is probably the move I would play. I'm happy to get my pawn on this diagonal, not because I'm blocking it, but because my bishop helps extend the pawn's strength, and then I've got some good control of the position on black's side of the board. So even if I don't get the entire diagonal, I think this gives me some pretty good control of the situation. The other option was just knight f3, which I want to play anyway, right? And then if they take, I can take back with the knight. And if they play out here, you know, this is looking a little bit like an open Sicilian with a fianchetto and a Dutch, like a whole bunch of stuff thrown in. Here I can see Masters Database just castle. Yeah, I think I would have been fine with that as well. In the top Leeches database, also castle, knight c3, also taking. Let's see, the engine has any specific points. Nothing to worry about too much. I would be happy with basically any of this. The key was just there's no reason for me to let this happen. So I think d5 would be my preference in the future. If they take, I take back with the pawn, and we just get this kind of classic Benoni kind of structure. They now have the f5 pawn already upright though, so I can't play e4 easily, but I don't have to. I don't have any massive problems. Let's see if this in the masters database, d6. Okay, and here you want to go sideways to maybe get onto this square, because they don't have an e-pawn to punish you with, and you can always maybe get onto this square, and if they take, you can take back, and you're also hitting here. Let's actually see how this runs quickly. So here, for instance, they, I don't know, let's just say they develop. I just want to see what happens here. So they develop, I castle, they castle, I come out here. Okay, now this is the best move, so I go here. If they take, I take back, I'm hitting this pawn. But anyway. Okay. So I think that's it for the second game. Now let's go to the third game. The third game was our first loss, and we played against a delayed Smith Mora. The opponent was called Achi15. Let's quickly go back. Achi15, plus 215. Alright. Let's get into the analysis here. Yeah, so the reason I call this a delayed Smith Mora is because Smith Mora is d5, d4 here, right? Here, and then, whoopsie, take, and then c3 and take, and this is the accepted variation. But in this game, they played their knight out first. We played out expecting an open, or a Rossolimo, or a delayed Alapin. I mean, there's so many things actually still. And like the Baldler attack, or whatever this one is here. And then they play the Smith Mora. So here, I'm happy to play the accepted. I don't really fear it too much. The learning for me, and I think I got a memo on this, is white played a messy move order. Fair enough. So they got me in like a move order I don't know. My lesson I wrote here was e6 and a6 stay the best moves in the move order. Yes, I think I remember this. So even though I want to play e6 in response to bishop c4, so I want to play e6 once the bishop is here because that feels correct. You can actually just play it immediately. Here you see it's the top move in the database for masters, and then a6, which I played, is a move, but it's not the top one. I also wrote that I should calculate the reverse move orders for tactics. I made some tactical mistakes, and oh yes, I do remember this. I had a good bind on the position and way more activity, and then I cashed it in. I traded off a knight for a bishop pair, but I lost my advantage according to the engine. So yeah, so in this case, actually just e6 directly is also fine. Just, playing the best move I know I should, bringing my other knight out, bringing my bishop out here maybe. Alright, I did this, and here they played up, so now I can't play b5, but now I can play e6 still, and this is the way I should have continued. Bishop c4, and here I can then do my normal knight jump as I want. I can also play d6, which is a move. I probably would have jumped the knight. That's kind of the normal way I play. Queen over, here they castle, and I put my bishop up. Yeah, this is my kind of standard game. I'm very comfortable with this. Here the trick is that I have to make sure, well, they can't put their knight across, but I have to just make sure this square is comfortable. So b6 is fine, d6 is okay. I probably would have gone b6, because I can also get my light square bishop out this way. I'd be pretty happy with that. Okay, in the game, I decided to play g6. Oh, okay, so I didn't really know what was going on, and this is kind of the main lesson for me. Against this Smith Mora, e6 is just always good. Just get e6 in the game. And so here, because of the move order, I got a bit confused. I changed my plan, which I shouldn't have done. And now they've got some good binds on this situation, so if I play up, they can play here, and then after we trade, actually it's fine, but I didn't want to do that, so I went here, and then my knight out, and if they jump here, okay, then I go up, and this is actually better for me, so that part wasn't too bad. get my light square bishop out, because I don't know what to do on this side, although, again, I think b6 was probably fine. b3 is a nice place for my knight to be sitting, blocking that pawn, getting that light square bishop attacked, get my rook in the game. Yeah, I would say, and this is, I think, kind of getting to the point where I had some good kind of control of the situation. Their knights are a bit weak. This rook is not playing at all. Well, mine's not either, I guess. Knights go bishop way in the corner. So it felt to me like I was doing a bit better here. Here, and now it's -2. Yeah, so really good. Oh, again, and now I saw a tactic, but I did it the wrong way. I should have done this first, and then gone here, and this is apparently the main line. In this case also, I calculated a few things. I decided to hit the bishop first, and then hit that rook. So they have to move. I solidify my knight. And okay, this is the, sorry, this is the situation where I kind of didn't play correctly. So I'm hitting this knight, and that knight's also protecting against this, and also here, and also here. And importantly, I want to play up and kind of get this knight off the square. So what I did was I played this first, which was incorrect, and then they trade off. And I'm still better, but it's just because they made a mistake. And here in this situation, I thought trading for the bishop pair was correct, but actually the engine just says, get onto the side of the board, get your other rook out. White has very little activity, you're the one that's kind of dominating it. The queen can't go here, can't go here, can't go there. This knight can go here, I guess, although I'll take and then I'll have a passer on this side. Yeah, I have control of this square as well. So actually I control a lot of the squares on the board, right? Like, I've got all of that control, so I just need to get my rook out, and then all my pieces are playing, and White's not doing better. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I traded off, and here again, chances, just be more active. And I eventually just threw away to a very poor move order, and even though I had a chance to kind of equalize, I just completely misunderstood it. Alright, I think that's it for the third game. So takeaway for me in the Smith-Morra, e6 is always the move, don't have to change it. It works against basically every version of it. Game 4 was against Bobik. It was a London with an early bishop bishop d3. Early bishop d3. That was kind of tricky for me to figure out what's supposedly wrong with it. But it isn't the best move order. So let's just get into it. Let's see if I made a note as well. Can I just... There we go. I said so. Close position, sack on f3, kingside mate attack. Oh, this was a really fun game. Yeah. Okay, so I was able to punish my opponent for bishop d3 by playing c5, I think. c4, I think. Pushing the bishop back and getting the diagonal for my light square bishop, and eventually I had a really nice sack on f3. I did win this game, but I missed the way I was supposed to do. So I think the memo I wrote here was the attack was really strong. All I needed to do was get the correct piece in the game, so I could actually have sacked or completely sidelined a knight in this case, just to get my queen in for the attack. So let's just see in the opening. So I like this move order against the London, no big reason to change it, this was perfectly fine. And here, bishop d3, as you can see here, not the main move, scores well for black. Knight d2 is the main move. I would have probably played queen b6 here, and then we would have faced, you know, one of these queen moves and played accordingly. Bishop d3 directly isn't terrible, but it's incorrect. Here you can say bishop g4 is apparently a move. I did look at this, but I didn't really specifically think I have to. You can pin the knight to the queen and then you can eventually take it maybe. I just played my queen up directly, pressure on this pawn, and then you'll see if they play here, I can actually hit them both, and then after I take they have to move, and then, you know, I win some time, which is kind of what happened anyway. They played c2, which is very strong for this diagonal obviously, so I went g6, so I can put my bishop here anyway, or maybe I can fianchetto, trying to figure out what I was going to do. Oh, and this is the situation I decided, if you're going to do that, I'm actually just going to take the space on the queen side. You have to go back, and now because of that I can put my bishop out, And then even if you push, I'll be able to take, and I'll just be able to get this kind of combination against your queen side, which felt really strong. So they fall back, I take the diagonal, and here I was supposed to just fianchetto, but instead I went up. I missed that the bishop can take on h5, so that was just a bit of a silly one. But it's not actually that bad, because in the end I'm going to open up the queen side, the king side, and their queen and some of the other pieces aren't so well placed to play there. Alright, yeah, so I'm happy with this. That was good. Apparently I should have just directly attacked the square. I didn't. I played my bishop out first. And now I'm playing the bishop out because I want to break. And I can castle either direction, and I'm just coming at the white player. So I break. Taking was incorrect. This was a nice move, I thought. So now I castle. And here's my sack. I figure that I got more activity than they do. And because I have more space, so like this is kind of the space in the game, I have the mobility to move in and attack the king, so that felt correct to me. This was fine. Apparently it's equal though, right? I didn't have an advantage here. I do pick up that pawn though, and I wasn't really happy with this move, but apparently it was fine. I was thinking I actually should have just done this. Just go e4 or something. This is apparently good too. But anyway, so here, okay, and this is where I started to miss the plot. Actually, here I think already I could have played knight b4. With this rook and this open space around the king, all I need is my queen in. And if you defend your bishop, I can hit it again, and you can't defend it sufficiently. If you do this, I'm just opening up more spaces. Attack here, I can still take if I want to. So what I should have done, let's say here, is I should have just moved my knight and just get my queen in. That was the mistake. I was worried about this, but I have this right now. So just here, and they can't do anything towards it. Oh, what's going on? Hello. Hi. Take the clothes in, so what do you mean? Understood. Okay, bye-bye. Alright, chores call. I will be right back. Thankfully, this is why we can do a cut of the live, so that we don't have this in the final video. Hey. I realized I never made the music softer. Oh well. Alright, interruption over. Let's continue. Let's continue. There we go. Just get back here. Alright. Maybe I'll make the music a bit softer. I didn't even realize that earlier. My bad. I hope that's not going to spoil the video later on. Alright, where were we? Yeah, okay, so the point was here, like, I don't need my knight to do anything. I actually just need my knight to get out of the way. A move earlier, I could have actually sacked it. Here, this is actually perfectly fine. If they take, I'm coming across. If they take here, I can take with my knight. Then I've got pressure here. I can still come across. Like, just absolutely crushing this position. So happy to get the win, but yeah, I didn't get the win the way I wanted to. Alright, next game was a Rosselimo against JPS Rouge. Let's go on, let's move on. Let's move on to JPS Rouge. Alright, so now we're into the 1900s. And this game was a Rossalimo. I've got a specific setup I really enjoy against the Rossalimo, and I've actually continued to play it still and learn some new variations in it. As I face stronger opponents, they play better, and so I have to also up my game and figure out if the Rossalimo variation I like still works in those cases. Alright, so here we have a Rossalimo. Did I have a memo for this? I said close position. Oh, no, that's the previous game. Here I said our standard structure, white played suboptimally. Okay, so our opponent just didn't play very well, and I'm very happy with the opening, and I need to control the pawn breaks. Alright, so here, take with the d pawn. This is kind of the main point of this. e5, knight e7, knight c4, queen c7, just double defending here. Bishop d5 isn't worth it. I'm very happy to play f6 if I eventually have to. But also in this case I could just castle, because if you take, I can just take back with my queen. I'm still defending. And then you just have no pawns, no bishops left. So the other move I can consider in this position is just to play f6. I'm not unhappy about this because you don't have your queen on this diagonal yet. And with this also I stop your knight from coming in here, so I can then play here. So say for instance you move back somewhere, here, you play here, now you're bringing your queen out, right? So I castle, queen out, and here. Just very comfortably. Your knight can't come here. I'm covering this square sufficiently, I think. Let's see, you've got 3 defenders coming in. I would have only 2 at the start, but I could get another one going. Oh, I also realized that you're actually just pinning your knight against your queen, so that would be terrible. But anyway, the general idea stands. Alright, so I just castle, queen up, and I'm also not super unhappy with them if they want to try do this. Although I think the engine line, or one of them actually, is to play h6, because eventually you can also play g5 and you can get your knight in this way. In one of my other kind of offline games yesterday I actually did that. So yeah, castle here, happy with that. Oh, and then I'm very happy for this light square bishop to go onto either of these squares, hit either of these knights. In other games I think I've had later in the series, I played here and then put a rook over, threatening to take and open up against the queen. Otherwise very standard, I'm just happy to take that knight, even if they take back with the queen or with another knight. I'm happy to trade off my light square bishop before I play f5, because that's going to be the break, and as I understand it, in the Rossalimo, in this variation especially, maybe, I'm not sure, black's kind of going to play for the f5 break for a kingside attack, so felt good to me. So take that, happy. I don't mind that you take here, because your queen doesn't really have anything. Here I can kick you away, that square doesn't matter, these are already covered. So here, okay, and there I bring my last rook into the game. I think I could have probably at this point also just already gone here. Oh, the thing I didn't like about this was after you take, I can't take with the pawn because my king is a bit open. Like, this doesn't feel completely comfortable. It is probably still fine, but I thought this is creating too many weaknesses around my king, so I decided to maybe just kind of let them come in first, protect that pawn, king comes over. Oh, and here I want to just get my knight onto that square, and as I'm doing, hey, Uomaru, hello Uomaru. You're catching us doing a bit of a revision on the last Rapid games we've played. I'm trying to see if I can still remember, not the games as such, but just a little bit about what we learned, so I can keep on improving a little bit, you know. So I was happy with this move, both to get the knight in, but also to stop their f-pawn from moving, and this is actually eventually why I won, because without the f-pawn moving, they just couldn't get sufficient pieces to their king. So if they do move, I'll just take with the f-pawn, and then again I hit the queen, and I can move my king out of the way and just get onto this file. I felt very happy with that. h4 did not feel like a problem. Okay. So here I was supposed to over, and here I did think this was good, but I thought after this I wouldn't be doing so good. Oh, that was definitely not what I wanted to do. I miscalculated here. I looked at this move, but I didn't, so, you know, if they don't take, then I'm just crushing in so many ways. This is like plus a billion. This is mate and whatever, because I can just move out of the way, and I just come at the king, and the king's got nothing defending it, right? So it's really, really open. In the case that they move the king up, this was also something I was a bit concerned about. Here I think that I can just jump the knight in. I wonder. Yeah, actually I think maybe just knight over is pretty great. Yeah, just knight over here, and then I'm hitting this pawn, which I can take, but more importantly, I'm actually just going to put my knight over there, which gives me this square. So let's say you do this, I do this, you have to defend against this. How do we win this? I'm not sure. Oh, you know what? Maybe I can just open things up. Maybe in this case, I go here first. I can always come back. I've got this. Maybe everything just wins. What's best here? Let's see if the engine's got an answer. Yeah, taking the pawn is better. What if I do this? Still very good. Okay, just kick this knight. Play up, get the queen over. Alright. Oh, knight on f5 is... Oh, f4 is probably just winning, but... Maybe taking the pawn would have been stronger. But anyway, that's not what happened. They took, which is great, just opens up the file for us. Hit the rook. And this is basically mate. They can't stop it anymore. The king comes here, I hit it. If it doesn't come there, I still hit it. So I can even do like this, like force them to take, just to make the mating sequence forced. Yeah, so actually in this case, I didn't actually learn anything about my opening, because my opponent just didn't play very well. But I was very happy with the fact that it worked out very well. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for me on this game. Let's go to game 6. This was an Alapin into a butter French. Alright. This is against Chess SMG 200. Let's go Chess SMG 200. So Alapin into a butter French is when they move past with their pawn. So I said accept the pawn structure if they let us. So yeah, so let's do this if they let us do this, it's good. And don't sack active or passive pieces without clear justification. So I probably sacked something somewhere that I shouldn't have. So yeah, against the Alapin, I like playing d5, and the normal variation is just to take, and I take back, and then they can play a variation of these moves, depending on what they like. d4, knight f3, knight f3, yeah, these ones. If they push past, though, this gives us a French structure with the benefit of getting our bishop out of the pawn chain first. And I just saw something I forgot already, which is even though this is the move I want to play, this is apparently better, because if they lose this pawn, things are great. So if they come here, then I play out. If they take here, I'm super happy to take this pawn. They get a c pawn, but I get an e pawn, so it's just better for me overall. These 4 pawns don't make a passer versus these 3 currently, so yeah, it's just a good situation for me. So I played bishop f5 directly, small improvement to put the knight out first. It is the square I want to put it anyway in this French structure that's coming up, so did this, and then closed up. Again, I could probably just play out the knight first. Yeah, master this game, just knight out. But e6 is good because it allows me to get some pieces out here. Alright, and now we're playing a French, right? But we just have our Lightsky bishop out already, which is just fantastic. There's no bad bishop, no French bishop on c8. Yeah, oh, okay. I played, this is the point about don't trade active for passive. I played for tricks, you know, so if you take here and they take back, and I take here and they take here, then I get this fork. And this is kind of what I was looking at, but my opponent didn't fall for that, so that didn't happen. So I took, and then after here they took with the knight, and now that angle is just not open. Alright, so I hit something, but this is actually just all better for them. So yeah, this is just, I shouldn't have done this. I did win the game eventually, but I played really stupidly here. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, you see actually it was worse for me, and then worse for me again, and then I just won at the end game. So yeah, accept the structure if they let us, but before we play these, because this pawn is vulnerable, knight c6 is actually better, because if you take that pawn, it's really good for you. I would say things like, let's say they take, I take. Oh, but it's not even pinned to anything. Yeah, so it's just great. This is just equal apparently, but it just feels better for me. I would jump my knight back in that case. Yeah, I'm very happy with this, and then I would probably open up here, although it's not even the best move apparently. Oh, g6 is the best. Okay, so this is a position we're going to have to learn a bit, but I'm not going to do that now. Just happy to say the butter French works. Next game against Frutal 000. This was a King's Indian defense, which is an opening which is so difficult to crack as white. So keep trying to work on it though. Keep trying to see if there's ways for us to improve our plans against it. Okay, let's see. Frutal 000. Okay, yeah, we definitely misplayed this, but we found a really nice idea because of this game. So even though we won kind of on a technicality, our opponent just, we repeated once and then they just blundered their queen by accident. We did learn something really nice. Alright, so this is the move order I play a lot of the time. Instead of playing g3 here, which is just the standard fianchetto variation, I play e4 first, and then I play g3, and then I play bishop up. And what I did in this game was knight f3, but what I learned was that I should play actually knight e2, ge2, because then this pawn is constantly defended, so eventually if they kick my queenside knight, it doesn't matter, the knight is free to move. So yeah, so this was not the best. Here they come breaking on the queenside, and I had the correct idea up to here. What I didn't think about was sinking the pawn into this structure. Let's see what my... Yeah, repeated an opponent blundered. The lessons, always repeat once, yeah, and only once. Don't repeat more than once by accident. You cause a draw if you're actually winning. And calculate pawn pushes down their throat. Yeah, so specifically getting a pawn onto their third rank. This felt really silly. Like this seemed like a waste, but it's actually really good. So here I would fork their pieces, and if they take this way, I could jump my knight out, hit their knight, hit this pawn, and the bishop is overworked. So say you want to try to defend both, I take, you take, and here I win an exchange, or even the dark square bishop if I want to. So the last option was if you push past, then I can actually just push here, and I've just secured a pawn in your position. You're gonna struggle big time. Yeah. So you'd go over, I would take, and just this is just really nice for me. +2 apparently. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I should have done, but I didn't. Instead I traded off. Oh, and then I walked into this spin, which was really silly. The game was really quick. That's not actually what I want to do. I want to look at this line quickly, because this is... So if they play the same way, basically... this is not the variation I like. F4, this is the one. Yeah, F4. So the point here with knight g2 is that the f pawn is also not blocked, so you can play f4, and then if you get this in, e5 is the move. So what they are supposed to do is play e5, and what I would have done is taken once and pushed past, and just kind of had, you know, this activity and this structure, and it just seems really good for me. It is equal, it's not better, but it feels very good. If they don't get e5 in, if they miss it, then you play e5. And this is just crashing. So in this case, obviously, I'm attacking two knights, so that's a very clear one. If they weren't quite that silly, if they moved that knight out of the way, I can defend, and I can still play, and it just slowly building up my advantage. I did have a game like this a few days ago, just off stream playing, and I also thought that if they take here, you take back with the f-pawn to keep the bishop slightly blunted. Yeah, I crashed that game as well, and then barely won because I didn't know how to win, but this is very strong. You're going to come over with your knights, and they just don't have a lot of activity. You know, all these pieces are kind of stuck on this side of the board. So yeah, pretty good for us, I think. Overall, it feels really strong, even if it isn't objectively super strong. It feels like white is the one with all the activity, all the play. Okay, so that's that game. Moving on, game 8 was against Sigma Pro, and it was a Staunton Cochrane, which is an opening that I saw once in my life, I think, before this series, and then I saw like twice back to back, basically. Oh, Sigma Pro, right? Yeah, Sigma Pro. And the Staunton Cochrane is against the Sicilians just playing c4 directly. So here, Sicilian, and then just c4. And I don't know this at all, but I found a video, someone shared it with me from GM Daniel Naroditsky, who, by the way, did like an interview recently with what's her name? Daniela? I want to say Danya, but isn't that his other name? Anyway, talking about a bunch of stuff, including when he was accused of cheating and all that stuff. And yeah, I really like the guy. I like his videos, and he seems like someone who took quite a beating and is not really up for the whole celebrity, shitstorm that can happen. So I feel from him a little bit. Personally, don't think he has any value in cheating anyway. Anyway, so knights up, knights up. Okay, and so here, um, if they play this knight up, this is the critical line, I think. Then you're supposed to play here, because after this, you get this in here, and this is basically white playing for a Maroczy bind, but this is a better version for black, because you got your lights go, you got your darker bishop out already early. Now you're attacking this pawn. They defend it, and you can castle, and the position is just pretty good. Here you can break even while they're still trying to get their things together. Yeah, it's just pretty good for you. Yeah, the Maroczy bind just doesn't hold in this variation very well. If you incorrectly go g6 though, same thing, and this is just a great Maroczy bind. You can see in the Masters database, just doesn't score very well. So this is what I learned about that. But at this time, I had no idea. Let's see what my comments were. I learned some basic theory, yeah, because I didn't know anything about this. And compare tactics with and without preparatory moves. So I had some tactics somewhere. Okay, I made some obvious mistakes. Oh yeah, I got a knight in there, which just felt really good. Oh, this was crazy. Yeah. This was absolutely insane. I made a mistake here in how this was going to shake down. I calculated incorrectly, and I lost the piece, but then I actually just crushed them because they walked their king into a corner. Oh, and this is the tactic here. I could have already sacked the knight for the fork, but I defended first, and it was stronger, but they could have walked out. So I was lucky that they didn't, but if they did, I would have, lost the chance. Alright, but the Cochrane was the basic learning here, so happy to do that. And then the next game, the game 9, immediately, again, Q Lashu, we played another Staunton Cochrane. And this game was really, really silly, because I remembered, obviously now, having just learned about the Staunton Cochrane, that this is what I'm supposed to do, but then I accidentally clicked too many times, and I just hung a piece, like instantly out of the opening. So here they play correctly, which means I have to play e6. Yeah, so I did that. Here's the other knight out, and then correctly I played my knight out. If they play here, I can hit this knight. I can hit this pawn. 2 attackers. If they defend it, I can take once, and you just don't have enough defenders. If you defend it with your queen, I can attack it with my queen, and again, you just don't quite have enough. Although I did see that, oh, you could hit, I have to run away, which is not nice. You could do here, and I think here I have to go back, and you can take my pawn, maybe you take it this way, I don't know, but this pawn is still going to hang, this knight is still going to hang, because you're not fast enough to get your bishop out to defend from behind. But instead, I just hung a knight instantly by moving my d-pawn by accident, and then I played really hard, and I caught them in a tactic at the end of the game, got into an equal endgame, and then they just made a mistake, and I won. They didn't understand how they were supposed to play, and I was just better. Alright, so Storm to Cochrane nailed it, but they didn't even get to play it. Next was against Snorlax. Snorlax. This was a Alpine Butter French, so same situation again, and I did improve a little bit. So here they pushed past again, but I again just played here instead of playing my knight up like I should have. Anyway, at least I played a knight up on the second move, you know, so I got that right. Alright. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm making a cubby hole for my bishop, but I think the lesson was accept the pawn structure, improve move order. Yeah. I think the lesson for me here was I don't even have to play e6, although it looks like masters do play it. Maybe it was a different game where I learned like I could just, you know, just develop. I don't have to play h6 so quickly. But anyway, played there, and they were supposed to take, yeah. So what I was supposed to do here, instead of h6, I could have gone for taking, knight up, queen over, or cx first. All of these I think is good. Taking I think is better. h6 is one of the moves. This is what masters do, and then check, and then the knight out behind it, so that you don't have to block, because in my move order I actually hung the pawn here, then they could have taken, and it's still fine, but you know, why give them the option? Because I want to put my knight there to hit that pawn, so the fact that they've taken means the pawn's gone. It's a little bit silly, but I could now come over and hit this pawn, so yeah, still got some options at least of doing something. Yeah, I think that's the only thing I wanted to take away from that. I was happy to improve my pawn structure, but I still had to, my move order, but I still have to improve the move order a bit further. The next game was against Knight Cree. This was a bit of an unfortunate one because I played a really strong opponent, which was a great opportunity, 2100, but I just played the wrong move on like move 5 and just like lost immediately. So we played a Sicilian, open Sicilian into a Sveshnikov. I do think I want to start playing the Kalashnikov a little bit as well. I mean, this is very similar. A6. And you can play b5 or bishop out or here or rook over even. I would probably have done this here. And then you can play your bishop, your knight here instead of there, so that this bishop can't block because you just kick it away. So if they play here, you can play h or f. F scores a bit better. G, take, king up, queen over, h6. Am I threatening to take? I guess so. Oh no, I'm threatening to develop. Yeah. Alright. So that's apparently good. Maybe H is better. Oh, the sack line in the Sveshnikov is scary. But anyway, I did none of this. After we played the Sveshnikov, I just played bishop up immediately, and this is just terrible. I'm going to lose the d-pawn, which is so critical in this position, because then my whole position is open. I don't want to lose it, I want to liquidate it. Losing it is terrible. You have to play a6. And that was the learning here. Don't forget a6. If you do, everything goes bad. Alright, game 12 was against Bongtod. Bongtod. Getting to a point I don't have to scroll so long anymore. Alright. And this was a Nimzo Larsen Classical. Oh, yes. So I did the reverse London, which worked out okay. I didn't know what my plan was, though, and apparently the plan in this position is actually just to go for a queenside attack. And I should remember to calculate all the options of taking, of pushing past, of retreating, or of ignoring, because I think there was a move where I did something I thought they had to react, and they just didn't, and then I'm just worse. So, alright, so here they go into the Nimzo Larsen. Let's just look at the move order a little bit here. Oh, they played knight f3 first, and then there. So I didn't know this position. I figured if you're going for a King's Indian attack, I can play the reverse London. I can also play a different line against the King's Indian attack, which is really fun, but anyway, so here, and this is apparently the classical. I didn't know it. I didn't really know what's going on, so I decided to make my little cubby for the bishop already, but I should have just gone ahead and developed first. So that was the thing I did wrong. Alright, now we're developing, but this is a slow game, so that's okay. Again, then this is the kind of the situation where I didn't know if I should play c5 or c6 or knight over or what exactly I'm supposed to play for, because I don't really play against this double fianchetto a lot. Although it's called a Nimzo Larsen, they didn't actually do anything that I think warrants that. They didn't take, they didn't pressure, they played very passively, so this is basically just a double fianchetto in my head. The database says I'm supposed to attack with a5 before my knight comes out, and then, you know, a structure happens. This is a idea that I think happens in the Sicilian, in the King's Indian, I think, a lot. And I didn't know that. So, learning from me on that. This was okay. We're still in a game. Pushing past. Sorry, this is actually what the game was. So I played c6, and I just didn't know what to do. I just didn't know how I'm supposed to attack. Here's the a5 plan as well. Bishop back was also an idea, and then a5. So yeah, learning for me on how exactly I'm supposed to play in those positions. Because I don't play the King's Indians, I'm not really used to this a5 knight a6 plan, but learned it now. Alright, next was against Sicilian Lover, although unfortunately we didn't play a Sicilian. Sicilian Lover, I think this was a Nimzo actually. Yes. Oh, and this was a great game. I really enjoyed this win. I slowly built up and crushed their king side, and I love playing the Nimzo. It is very, very flexible, bunch of pawn structures, great for learning, lots of variations, never always the same game. I actually recently, because I played some games on chess.com, I faced the same opponent 3 days in a row. I guess because he goes online about the same time I do in the same kind of rating range, and we played a Nimzo 3 times, and he kept changing his move order, so it was amazing practice. I won the first two, and then I kind of messed up in the third game, but he also messed up in one of the others, that's why I won, so anyway, good practice. Yeah, so here, Kasparov, and so I love the b6 line against basically all the Nimzos. It's always nice. I've got a standard plan. I'm gonna fianchetto. I'm gonna play for the e5 break, um, and then, you know, I just have a very comfortable game. So very happy with all of this. If they take, yeah, I take back with my queen. G5 is a move here, and is always a move in the Nimzo if they push their bishop back. So here you can see actually the Masters database is, oopsie, the Masters database in this position is G5 is the main move, but I don't really like this so much. Like this is not a variation I enjoy. I don't know, like it's not bad. It's pretty good for black. There's a lot of play there, but yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. So I just castle, and then I play d6, and I'm slowly, you know, making space to get my plan in action. And oh, hey, well, thank you very much. Cool stream. Thanks for the entertainment. I'm glad if it's entertaining. This is revision, right? So it's not a live game, but if you find it entertaining, I really appreciate it. I'm trying something out. This whole series so far has been offline, and then I just cut it and upload. But I decided I'm actually going to do the games live, and then maybe I'll just cut the video for those who don't want to sit through the whole thing. I even walked away from the computer earlier, so yeah. But thank you very much for the comment. I appreciate it. The learning I had for my plan here was I usually play queen e7, but queen e8 is better. And I did improve it later on in the series, and it was correct to do so. The main point is that you get out of the pin from the dark square bishop. Although, if you play a Bogo, just to go back, in this case, I play the Bogo Indian as well. And then I play queen e7. So a lot of the times I get a very similar game, because if they play, for instance, you know, queen up, I'm supposed to take. And in this case, I want to play the same moves. So I'm going to play here, so if they play e4, I can play e5. I'm going to play here, I'm going to fianchetto and all those things. And in that case, queen e7 is fine. But apparently queen e8 is actually the better move. So a little bit of a learning for me about which way I'm supposed to go with the queen. And happy to say that I'm remembering it because I did it later on. Alright, here we go. So yeah, I ditched my standard plan. I didn't play g5, don't want to. Incorrectly played queen e7. And then I played g5 eventually because I realized that I need to build my attack. Oh, they sacked. Yeah, that was a surprise. I didn't expect them to sack. I expected them to go back, and then I could go here, and I'll pick up that or that. And I'm happy to now double their pawns because, again, I think I've got more pressure and more space to play. Similar to the Rossolimo game that we had earlier, where I'm black pushing my pawns, but that's where all the action is basically happening, and white's counterplay on the queen side just feels a bit too slow to really matter. But anyway, they sacked, so yay. And I had two moves to consider here. I want to bring in a rook, I just have to figure out how. So in this position, if my queen was here, I could jump. That's kind of the main point, right? Anyway, so over, and this I had to calculate a little bit. If I incorrectly take here, then they take here with check, and I'm just down a piece. So take that one first, and this was a great mate. Check that. Sack, sack, and mate. So sack the bishop, sack the rook, mate. Rook's doing nothing, queen's doing nothing, rook's doing nothing. Just absolutely crushing. It was really, really nice game. And this again, I think, is a game opening where I have a kind of standard plan, and I'm actually on purpose just repeating it so that I can face stronger opponents to see if they can find a way to prove to me that it's wrong or to teach me a new variation I have to learn. Oh, and the last lesson I had for this in the Nimzo was, as I said, I've played this a lot in the past. My mistake in the past was I know the theoretical point of the Nimzo Indian is that black gets a lot of development quickly. Two pieces out, instant cancelling, and white's only got one minor piece out and some pawns. So black's really, really quick to develop, and then you can start launching an attack, but I would always overdo that whole then you can launch an attack part, and I would just lose. So I've learned that you in fact just keep on building the attack. Just work with the fact that you have good development. The benefit keeps on. You don't have to, force some tactics on move 5. Alright, next. Game 14 was... Oh, we're halfway now. Game 14 was a Slav and was against the Warrior. I can't pronounce that to save my life. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we don't have to scroll at all anymore. The Slav is another opening where I'm actually repeating my move order now to see variations against it. So in this position, you can take, obviously, you can play knight f, you can play g3, I don't know, you can play your knight out, knight c3, which is the one I play. You can play e3 as well, which I wouldn't play, queen e2 I wouldn't play. So my real options probably would be this, this, and this. Maybe this. Although I think I would play this later. Anyway, I play knight c3, and this can go into an interesting situation. Here, they can take, and you can play the Geller Gambit. The Geller Gambit. But I don't really know the Geller Gambit, and that's not what I play. In this position, I play a4, and this basically turns into kind of like a Catalan situation. They've taken, well, Catalan slash, open Catalan slash Queen's Gambit accepted, right? Because they've taken the pawn on c4. I have to prove that they either can't keep it or they're keeping it isn't worth it, which isn't always so easy. Which isn't always so easy. Yeah, it gets a little bit tricky. But, yeah, definitely not impossible. But this game didn't happen that way. Here they just played this move, which I hadn't seen before, and I spent, I think, I spent like 3 minutes on this, or 2.5 minutes, and I realized that the move order is just kind of wrong. It cuts off the queen's defense of this middle pawn. So here, and then after I develop, I just have a really good kind of jump in. The lesson I wrote for myself was the Slav attacking game is working, so I'm happy with the general way I'm going, and the threat's bigger than the execution sometimes. So I never jumped my knight in, because I realized the rook can just shuffle back and forth, and there was no way that my knight can go that really seemed worth it. But the engine says put your knight there. Just put it there, and you can always move it again if you have to. You have this kind of threat available. So traded, did see all of this coming. So yeah, this is what the engine wants to do, and I don't really know why. So you have to save the bishop, so you can still have this attack at some point. Maybe they save their pawn. Yeah, jumping the knight just seemed pointless to me because I can't. There's no discovery after that. You know, I'm not doing anything, but apparently it was worth it. This is very tactical, whole bunch of stuff going on. Very fun. I won and lost the advantage a bunch of times, but overall just happy with my Slav attacking game. Knight c3 is not the best move, but it is a move and it works very well. Game 15 was another Rossolimo. Maybe this is the one I was talking about earlier. So we get a chance to play our structure again and see if our opponent plays a bit better. So my memo says opponent played better than the previous one. Yeah, we squandered our advantage but then got it back, so I made some obvious mistake there. And yes, look for ways to advance and improve pieces as you attack, and obviously tactics. I won based on attacking, but I missed I think knight d5 because they took with their pawn, and then I could have jumped my knight in to hit the bishop, but I didn't do it, and that was a mistake. So here's our Rossolimo, very happy to play same structure. This opponent's playing a bit better. These are all kind of generally better moves. Sometimes they play b4 here already. That's another variation I've faced now recently. And so I also improved a little bit. I played h6 here just to cover that square, so that even if their queen comes up, I can stop them from coming in. Previously, I would have just played my bishop up somewhere here. Both of these are fine. I don't think it's specifically wrong, but h6, hello, in good company here, good move. Yeah, so h6. And then I decided, well, now I can't go there anymore, so fair enough. I'm going to hit the other rook, the other knight, and I'm going to kind of pin it against your queen a little bit, although, you know, you'll take back with the b-pawn in this case, so it's not that useful. Here I come with my break, and always take with the pawn, and this is the situation I'm talking about in my memo. If they take, and I take back, you know, I've got all of these moves, but I also have the d5 square. And this is what I forgot. I didn't even look at it. I never looked at the d5 square, but I mean, this is really great, because I would go up and this bishop would be kind of stuck, right? It can't go anywhere. And then even if it had somewhere to go, I could hit the queen potentially. Like, there's a bunch of interesting things here. Yeah, so they go over, and here... Oh, okay, I remember this actually. I was holding my son. Hard to calculate everything. I played the incorrect pawn move. Apparently the other one was slightly better. So here, and then you can just push straight in, which is kind of what I did. This is apparently very good. I can take this pawn over here, obviously, as well. The king is quite open. I play the other one over, and this is when I was supposed to do this here. So let's say now I do this, you go back, and I can hit, and then I can get your other bishop. So I have two bishops, you have two knights, and the position's opening up, so obviously quite strong for me. If you decide to block or do something else, that's also possible. You could do this, for instance, but again, just feels like I'm slowly going to open up the position, so it felt pretty good about that whole situation. d4, yeah, that was the point there. So this is kind of what our attack is going towards, same as in the previous two games. White doesn't really have counter, unless they play for it faster, they don't really have a lot of counter attack potential on the queen side. We're opening up our king a little bit, but we're the one with all our pieces running around this side of the board, and we've got these hanging pawns that are advancing, you know, with a nice threat there, or with a good threat here. So in this case, you know, one of these pieces needs to be moved. Yeah, we could have probably moved the other pawn though. Unfortunately, we didn't, and we shouldn't have taken. But this is all tactical, so less of a lesson and more of a let's learn it next time. Alright, the next one was a Dutch Stonewall, and we lost it, unfortunately. Oh no. Alright, so game 16, we played against Takara Kenshi. We actually played another person from the Japan area, I guess. Takara Kenshi. Takara Kenshi says there from where? Let's quickly see. It doesn't say. Alright, well, clearly a Japanese name though. Alright, so here we played against the Dutch, and we went g3, correct. Happy we did that. and we played against the Stonewall, and we forgot the plan. We forgot this plan. I tend to play knight c3 very early, and I think I'm making a mistake of playing it too fast. I should have played knight f3 and then gone for this whole plan, like I've explained before. Anyway, so I played here. Oh no, sorry, I'm still in this. I played here, yeah, and then yeah, I was actually better, and then I just made a mistake on my tactic. Oh, okay, okay, cool. This is something interesting as well. I wasn't sure what to do against the stone wall. I've faced it a few times, and it's very frustrating to try and make a plan because it's kind of hard to break through, called the stone wall. But in this game, I decided to try something which I haven't tried before, which is c5. And, you're pushing the bishop back, but basically what I'm saying is I'm not breaking the center open. I'm actually going to try and break on the queen side, and kind of force some weakness there. So this plan, new to me, turns out it's actually totally a plan. People have played this and this is totally fine. This is actually really good, but I just kind of made a mistake here. Oh, yeah, okay. So here the mistake I made was I valued these pawns equally, but it's very much not. This is way better. Even if I lose this pawn, this is just much, much stronger. I've got a bind on the position. I've got a very, very strong king position. You've got bishops that want to open up, but it's kind of difficult. I've got a great spot over here. There's like a whole line I calculated, but anyway, it's just good. Yeah, so I made a mistake here and I took the wrong way, and then slowly I lost. In time trouble, yeah, 10 seconds, which means I had nothing when I played the move. I just lost. So don't play knight c3 immediately against the Dutch. I have that plan. I want to play the standard kind of trade the darks with bishops off, so we'll work on that for next time. Alright, game 17 was a Mises King's Indian attack. This Mises is a thing I also don't know, but I learned it from this game, and now in my blitz I just play kind of the same thing that my opponent played here because it's really fun. So I didn't know what the hell this was, so I just played knight f6 and f4. So now this is the bird, but now it's the bird with this included. So the Mises is when you play this first, but actually they're going for like a kingside, like a King's Indian attack, but with f4 first. So this is basically like the bird, right? It's like you played here, and then this is a move, and this is a move, and this is a move, and this is a move, millions of moves. Yeah, so I was very happy with this general situation. Oh, our opponent just kind of AFK'd, so we won like on time, but we didn't actually win. So for me, for next time against the Mices, I just didn't know what I was doing, so I was just playing the reversed again. And from the previous game where I was supposed to play the queenside attack, I did, but I kind of misremembered how that was set up. And because they've got this advance, I actually should have just kind of gone for a more of a standard plan. Here, take it back, they break, and I break as well. And if they push, we're just in a King's Indian attack, but they've got very little play. I've got my light square bishop already out. So actually I'm going to be the one with a bit more play, I think, in this position. It's equal, but I feel I'm doing a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah, this was tricky. I thought I was actually doing pretty badly here, but it turns out it was still fine. But our opponent AFK'd and left, so the thing we learned was 1d3 probably turns into something like a King's Indian attack. Or a Grob. Or a, whatchamacallit, um, bird. Yeah, so I was happy with the way we played. Could have learned something new. Alright, next game we lost. It was a Catalan, it was open Catalan. Still gotta work on our open Catalan. Actually, this morning I looked at an interesting line, which I actually think I should maybe just go and quickly put in before I forget. Catalan C. Open Catalan. The line that was shown to me as good is this one. A6 is one of the moves, isn't it? Oh, no, check. You have to take first. It's not there. It's not exactly this one, then, is it? Okay, I'm gonna have to double check. This is not exactly the line that was shown in that game. But anyway, on to the next game. Our Open Catalan we played against Zhao Jinghong. Mispronouncing because my my Chinese is terrible. Alright, yeah, man, the Open Catalan. Let's see what I wrote. Forgot a move order theory. Yeah, I got a refresh, fair enough. And 2 rooks is better than 1 rook plus a bishop. Oh, yeah, okay. So, Open Catalan they took, and I played Queen C2, which is a move, and this B5 line is a move. I thought this was incorrect because you're opening up this diagonal, but apparently it's just fine. After knight e5, knight e5, and you're still closing things up, and it's actually scoring really well for black. They just hold onto the pawn. So yeah, so a4, knight e4, castling, all good. I'm not going to look at this because I'm not going to play this way again in the future, but oh, I had a nice little tactic situation here, but they had a nice, move to counter it. Take, here, here, here. Okay, and in this position, the lesson I should have learned. So this is completely equal, right? And I'm immediately worse after trading off rooks. So I should have just worked on the fact that I have a second rook. And there, you can't protect it. I'm going to take that pawn. So here, if you want to like protect everything, I don't know. What are you going to do? Go back? And you just attack it again. Yeah, the thing I didn't like was this is obviously creating a back rank mate problem because my king doesn't have the takeaway square, but unless I actually lose my back rank, it's not a problem. Yeah. And then the next game we lost again against the Slav with our attacking game. Calculate reverse move order for tactics, another thing from a previous game that we should have done, and king in front of pawns of reason. Oh, okay, we were actually winning this game. We were actually winning the next game against Country Life, but we messed up the end game completely. Yeah, there it is. Alright, let's just see how the game started. So, in this position, I always hope for bishop f5, because it's fine. It's actually completely playable, but black has to be careful. They have to find some key moves, and if they don't, then they're just completely worse. We just lost. So they took, and here we can play again that Geller Gambit or a4 like I normally play. a4, bishop out, and here I'm trying to just pick up this pawn. I don't want to have any issues. Pick up the pawn, thank you. Bishop's out. We're all trading bishops. This was incorrect. Okay, but that's fine. I found a nice little tactic here, but I did it in reverse. So this pawn is overworked, right? It's defending the knight, it's also defending the pawn. What I should have done is taken the pawn for the knight first and then here. And the reason is because I double up these pawns on the side. What I did is sort of take the pawn first, and then I still win a pawn, but the pawn structure that my opponent is left with is better. It's not isolated H pawns, it's isolated AC pawns, which is a little bit more active. Alright, so we played on, I was better, I was winning, I traded off the queens because I was better and winning, traded off that because I'm better and winning, and now we're in the end game, and I'm still better, and now I'm gonna be now I'm not better, because after this move I realize if I move back, they're coming for this pawn maybe, or they can force a trade-off. So I decided to push because I thought I'm such a genius. If they take, we trade. But they just do nothing, and I'm lost. Yeah, if they move the king anyway, I come up. If they move their bishop back, then I'm also kind of screwed, I guess, actually. So yeah, so this was very frustrating because I just I threw the game with a terrible bishop move. And the lesson was, don't put your king in front of your pawns. Completely unnecessary. I could have avoided all of this by just pushing my pawn up and then try to break through, or getting my bishop up and trying to attack first, or just trading on this side of the board like I did anyway. At the very least it would have been a draw and not a loss, so I was frustrated for that. But we came out of the opening okay, so there wasn't too much here I wanted to change. This wasn't perfect. I think if I played again, oh, I did, okay, and I did look at this f4, e4, f3, e4 plan in the game twice. but it felt crazy, so I didn't do it. But it actually is just really good. You shut out their light square bishop. I can trade off my high square bishop here somewhere. My dark square bishop can get onto the diagonal. You just have more play. You know, like I open up more space for myself on the queen side versus my opponent. So yeah. Alright, so that was that game. Now on to move game 20. We're getting closer to the end now. This was also a Slav. Great. So another Slav opportunity for us. We played this against Hardhick 2014. Hardhick 2014. Yeah, we're in the space of the rating where we're just like jumping around the 2000s the whole time. So this is our attacking Slav game where we put knight c3 up first. And they walked into this. Yeah, okay. So this is just where our opponent actually walks into the problem with bishop f5, which isn't a problem by itself. Here, if you play your bishop back, you're fine. If you play knight c6, you're fine. If you play queen b6, you're technically also fine. I don't think this is specifically worse. Yeah, it loses a pawn, but it's actually not bad. But they decided to defend incorrectly, and now this is just terrible. An important move to know in this variation, which can take many forms, is e4 to win a tempo because you're hitting the bishop is very, very important. They can't take with their pawn because then you get in here, and if they take with the bishop, you get yours out to hit, and your knight is here taking those pawns as well, and your other knight and queen are still coming, and this rook can come over. So yeah, so they go back here, and here basically everything wins. I think the thumbnail I made was, does every move win? And basically all the moves are very good. All of them don't win. I think one or two don't, but most of them win. There's so many tactics in this position. You just have to kind of calculate that you don't drop pieces. I didn't trade off because I thought, your king's sitting in the middle of nowhere, but apparently it was fine if I did. Yeah, and here I found mate in one. Yay! I actually also found like a mistake. I thought that I was gonna do something else. Oh, I was gonna take here and then just like be up material. I didn't realize that I had mate until it was on the board. But anyway, so that's kind of the fun Slav that we're playing for with knight c3, because we need this knight to be here to put pressure there in case they let us take. Alright, so that was a fun one. Good to win. Good to see that kind of attacking idea works. But yeah, I did say I should make a point to check what if our opponent plays the best line, because if they do, we need to be ready. We can't expect everyone to make mistakes. Alright, game 21 was another loss, and this was against Mathaululu, butchering another name, as we do. We lost this game. This was a wing gambit. Oh no. Okay. The wing gambit is not that scary, but I had no idea what I was doing, and I spent so long, I think like 6 minutes on my second move or something. So here, Sicilian, wing gambit, and I spent more than 6 minutes on e5. Absolutely disgusting. So afterwards, what I decided was I would go and have a look at how to play against it. So let's just see what my memo was. Yeah, I had no idea. Respect the clock. Whatever you don't spend 6 of your 15 minutes on a move. That's way too much. Learn some basic theory, yeah, and then the in-game principles, counterplay. Oh yeah, because I had some chances here to kind of level the game a bit, but I didn't know what I was doing in the in-game as well. In-game's still a lot to learn there. Alright, so let's just say for next time we take and then they get the middle, but d5. Oh, okay, good. Take and d5. So take and whatever they do, d5 is one of the main moves. So here, d5, we can take with the queen. And we just continue like opening up. We can run back to wherever we want. Here, 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 here. Can't we just take as well? That's maybe not so good. Yeah, it's not so good. Let's say they play b2. Again here, d5 is fine. Knight f3, again d5 is fine. So against the wing gambit, we're just going to take. We're going to play d5. And then we're just going to have a game. I'm not going to look at the rest because it was a total waste. I just had no idea, no time. Then game 22 was against Brainless Player. This was Jobava London with an early DXC, which didn't seem correct. Brainless Player, yeah, so here London and then Jobava London, and against the Jobava London I have lost so many times, but guys, I forget when they can and can't take. Here we're still okay because we can just check, and if they block it we take the knight, and if they block it we take the knight, so if they block it they take the knight, and if they jump back we just won a tempo. So here the move is this, and then we can take because we have the same plan again. If they come here, we come here, and if they block, let's say they do this, then we just keep on taking because this pawn is super strong. So if they check us here, I'm actually just going to use the engine because I'm lazy here, and then I can take, I'm hitting your rook and this. If I go over and you decide to do something else, decide to take, I take again, your king has to move somewhere silly, I can check you again, I can jump my knight in if I have to at some point, I can still take here, eventually maybe. It's just really strong. Also in that situation is another one of those situations where you play e5, hitting something, sacking a pawn to get your bishop out and attack, should be really strong. Our opponent didn't do that though, they took, which is definitely not correct, and I played the correct moves here. I'm gonna go and play e5 now and just take that center, so that even if they jump their knight, they're just not in time, and if they jump here, I'm very happy to trade off, win that pawn back, and just have the center of the board. Then they played knight a4, which is bizarre. And this I missed. I didn't realize here that the knight is actually completely trapped after b5, because after this, I take, the square is still not possible, and now I've got two attackers. So if you defend it, for instance, whoopsie daisy here, then I attack, and if you jump out of the way, I get that pawn. If you don't defend it, I'm just taking it because only your queen's defending it. So here, thank you very much. GG. Alright, so that was a very strange Jobava London. Our opponent played some bizarro moves. Game 23 was another loss, and this was a Queen's Gambit exchange, another opening which I used to play a lot of, but clearly need to improve on. Yeah, look at that. Razor sharp, up down, both of us made some terrible moves here. I said they played bishop b4, h6, g5. So they played a very aggressive plan. Oh, yeah. So in this situation, they play h6 and g5 to push your dark square bishop, your dark square bishop around, right? So your dark square bishop gets pushed to g3, and the move there is h4. It's always good because if they take, they open up their king, and if they push past, you can just close up the position and your king is super safe, because then the king side is open and airy, but they've got zero play there. So yeah, my memo was trust our patterns, h4, e6 opportunities, and play faster. I played too slow. Let's have a quick look. Queen's Gambit declined. Exchange variation. This is kind of my standard. I've played this so many times. Bishop b4 is new. I don't know this. Normally, I think the mainline bishop is 7. Sometimes people also play bishop over here, although you can win the pawn, which is kind of dangerous for white. So yeah, they played that. I play up, just play my normal ones. I play queen c2 to deny bishop f4, f5. And it's dangerous. Oh, sorry. It's dangerous because if I go here and you decide you want to like put your bishop there anyway, I don't actually have to care about it. So I can now attack this pawn, which is weak. And then you have to like make some weaknesses on this side of the board. And also you're not hitting anything. I can also, I think, just trade off. Yeah, because I'm gonna win that pawn if you don't trade, or I'm gonna break your kingside pawn structure. Alright, so they played that, which is a bit strange. Hit me here. Yeah, and here you can see the evaluation also says plus 1.4. The move I should have played was h4. I think that's what the engine also says. Yeah, h4. h4 really nice. And if they play past then you can play knight e2 and you can castle, and your king is just super safe. If this pawn is defended, your bishop's really nice and open. If they hit it, you can move it out of the way and like play up if you have to. You can move it somewhere else. You can sack it and close up the position if you have to. Let's say they go here. Yeah, I can just kind of let it happen as well even. This is also very strong. Looks silly because I'm dropping a pawn, but your king is wide open. I've got a lot of activity coming in. Alright, yeah, so sad I never played h4 like I should have. I decided to just develop. This was okay. This was okay. This was good. I didn't have to move my queen, and I still had to open up the king rather. Because here you can't push past even because I just take it with my queen, right? I was scared about them taking, but I could have taken with the pawn. And then I'm just hundreds, no problem. So yeah, I moved it out of the way. I was going to take with the pawn anyway because I wanted to get this activity. Yep, this is all correct. Oh, and I knew e6 was the move. In the game, I knew it, but I just didn't know how. e6. And if you play past, then I just get on the file anyway. And I just have a protected passer. I'm just better. Yeah, that's that line. If you... Oh yeah, this was the scary thing, right? I'm losing an exchange, but here I just get so much activity. It's mate in 4, if I can find it. I mean, this looks like the move, right? Then you have to go there or there. Then I've got the Darksmith Bishop also coming in. Here, then you have to go there, then I go here, then you go up again. Oh man, let's see. Oh, actually this is best. Oh, you can't. Here, oh my goodness, yes please. Yeah, very strong. Okay, my move, not quite as strong. But anyway, I think there was one more. Yeah, there's more. Bishop takes. XF is also fine because this is protected, and now if I get your king to move away, I get my queen in, and this is made as well on the back rack. And if you close it up again, it's just better for me. Yeah, I already looked at that. Oh, and this also didn't matter. Getting on the diagonal with your king, trade off fine, super strong pawns. Yeah, oh man, e6. e6 was the move, but I just didn't know like how to do it. So I was better, but I could have been much better. And then I misplayed the endgame. Also had no time. Alright, 2 more games to go. Game 24 was against Failing the LB. It was a Grinfell exchange. Another game we do not face that often. And a nice learning for me was, yeah, I didn't break when I was supposed to break. Same as the previous game actually. That e6 pawn push. In this game as well, I didn't push the pawn when I was supposed to. I think this was a d5 push. Got the worst position, lost the pawn, and got lucky to win the game. The d5 break is very important. And yeah, don't put all your pawns on the same bishop. That's what on the same color as the bishop. Alright, Grinfell exchange. This is all still pretty standard stuff. Main line, taking. Here, all good. Queen a5 is not mainline, not a master move, but very popular on average. Here, still 404 people. I've faced it on OTB games as well. Queen b, or rook over first, and then queen b3. And here you're supposed to break. And what I missed was, because my threat here is that I'm attacking that pawn. What I missed was that after I push, even if you get this, I get to take, and if you take, I still get to take, and then I get to take back with check. This is really bad for you. So if I push, if you take immediately, I take. Oh, and yeah, and I don't take with the pawn, right? I take with the bishop. So I'm hitting your knight, I'm also hitting this. And then if you, for instance, want to cover here, still take, and I still take with check, and your king is wide open. I've got a dark square bishop that can come in maybe, I've got a rook that can come in maybe, I've got a knight that can jump across and help out maybe. My queen probably can't stick around where it is right now. Seems kind of scary, but yeah, I've got enough here to win. So yeah, if I just remember d5, it would have been fine, but I didn't. This also doesn't work, same problem. I still get in. One way or another, as soon as you move your light square bishop, that pawn is weak. Now I have both of my central pawns. Yeah, this is very good. Alright, and then very last game, game 25, was a Nimdo Indian Samish. Which is actually the Nimzo Indian I play. If I'm white in the Nimzo Indian, I play A3 a lot these days, although F3, E3, and A3 can all transpose. So you could actually play any of those pawns first, and you could still get basically the same position as white. But anyway, yeah, so A3, very forcing. You have to now decide to push back or take, but you didn't put your bishop out there just to pull it back, so you take. Also, the danger here is if you like pull back, they just get so much space. You know, you just wasted all your time. So don't do that. Not oopsie, oopsie. Go back to where we were there. So we take, and I just went for the same plan again. So yeah, here happy, not playing G5, castling, D6, D6 after castling, so that they can't check here. That sometimes gets kind of annoying. And again, here I'm thinking about Queen E7, Queen E8, but correctly played Queen E8. Good stuff, learning things. And now White's kind of, White normally actually, if they know what they're doing a little bit better, they play E4. Just immediately getting into the center, and then we have to play E5, and they can't take because they isolate their pawns completely. And if they push past, they give us the C5 square, so it's a good tension to keep. It's a good position for us to be in. So here we get our pawn push in. Great to have the knight defending. We're still threatening the same thing. Still threatening the same thing. And after they go back, I decided to take the diagonal of the file first against the queen, then to stop their pawn from moving forward. And now I no longer want to push, because I'm going to give them that square for their knight. Instead, I'm just going to cycle some minor pieces through there. I'm going to bring my knight over here. Trading off seems fine. Hitting the queen. And I calculated here that, you know, I'm happy with this endgame because I've got more space, I've got more activity, and importantly, I still haven't moved this pawn, so I'm keeping that square blocked. So the knight can't get there, because this would be a great square for the knight, right? So trade off and F3, F6, just protecting. And incorrectly here, what did my memo say? We played the same kind of plan. G5 was good, but I didn't play it. Queen E8 was best, good improvement. We didn't trust the good knight. Good knight, bad bishop. And I still need to improve on the endgame. We actually threw away our win into a draw, and then our opponent made a mistake. So here in this position, here, I considered taking, and you know, I was going to do this, you know, but you can even just kind of move your king over instead. The point being that this bishop is just kind of bad, and this knight is able to get to the squares it needs to. But I was scared because they can open up the position, the bishop's going to get kind of strong, and then it's hard to win. But yeah, I should have just had the confidence to take that knight. It is, I think, the best move here. But anyway, so we did this. Oh, and here again, I should have just improved my king a lot first, but I decided to just trade off immediately. Yeah, still winning, still winning. Just needed to understand what I did here, which was really stupid. Take here, and they have a passer, and my king's too far away, right? So my bishop has to come back now to defend against it. Very frustrating, but thankfully they decided to just sack their pawn. Silliness, and we got to just infiltrate and win. Alright, and that's it. That is our 25 games. In terms of our rating, well, we weren't really playing before this, so, you know, big jump there, but we're kind of sitting around 2000, so we started on 1869, and we're currently sitting on, what's it, 2014, so somewhere into 2000s. Very happy to have improved, but more importantly, lots of learnings. Lots of practice in the Nimzo, in the Slav, in the Rossolimo, and I'm really happy for this because I'm also starting to see a lot of, what's the word, synergies in patterns between openings, which is great. So I Fianchetto a lot because, as white, I Fianchetto a lot because it's a position that I'm more comfortable with. So if the King's Indian attack or King's Indian defense, I don't know what to do, I'll Fianchetto because at least I know Fianchetto positions more and more. Against the Benoni kind of thing, push the pawn. Against the Dutch, we have a general plan. Against the Rosalima, we have a setup that's still working. Against the Slav, we do. I'm just going to go look at that open Catalan line now, because in the Catalan, I think my theory is just way, way too weak. I don't know what to do, and unfortunately, there's a lot you have to know. So, alright, I think that's going to be it. Thank you very much for... I think there's 2 people who've just been hanging out the whole time. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. YouTube obviously also appreciates the watch time and so forth. I've been inactive on the channel for the last kind of week and a bit, I think, so really good to get back. And yeah, looking forward to... I think the rest of these games I'm actually going to play live. So I'm going to play and then maybe I'll still record separately and upload. But yeah, looking forward to that. So thank you very much for joining and see you guys around. Be safe. Bye bye.